Are you overwhelmed by repetitive tasks? What if you could automate 80% of them, freeing up your time to focus on what really matters? Let me show you how to get started with creating your first automation. First, let's break it down. Think of an automation like a human body. The brain is ChatGPT and Perplexity. These tools process information and make the decisions. The body, that's everything else. Modules and tools that execute tasks like sending emails, collecting data, or recording information. Together, they create a system that runs on its own, saving you hours every day. Your first step is signing up for a tool called Make, formerly known as Integromat. This platform lets you connect apps like Google Forms, Gmail, Airtable, and even ChatGPT to work together seamlessly. I recommend using the demo. I'm actually still using it. Once you've signed up, take a moment, explore what Make can do. Click New Scenario and browse through all of the modules. Think of it as your automation workshop. Next, I'm going to teach you how to set up the brain, ChatGPT and Perplexity. You can use Claude as well and follow the same steps that we do for ChatGPT. ChatGPT is best for brainstorming, general writing, and decision making. Perplexity is best for searching the web to get current information. If you don't already have accounts, create those now. These tools often require credits to function, so make sure to load some credits into both ChatGPT and Perplexity to avoid any interruptions. Now let's build your first automation. Imagine this. A potential client submits a Google form describing their biggest pain points. Instead of you manually checking the form and then responding back to the client, it's done automatically, asking the client to sign up for a consultation. Let's get you started with your very first automation. This is going to be the screen that you see when you log into Make. As you can see, I'm still on the demo. I barely get through all these operations, but as you start using more and more, you're going to need to move up. But right now, this is perfectly fine with me. Go over to scenarios, click create a new scenario, and this is the playground for it. So let's title this scenario First Client Automation. I don't really care about spelling right now, so don't shame me for that. Over here, the apps, these are the modules that you can connect to the automation. So as you can see, there are a ton. Like I think there's over like 150, 180 different apps that you can connect with this. So you see LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. The list is endless. So for this very first one, we're going to use a Google Sheet. But before I do that, let's go over to the client inquiry form. So let's say this is the intake form that a client has. So John Baker, his email is jb@cd.com, phone number, I think that's right, and then company website. Let's say, because this part actually does matter, for Charlotte Angels. That's the charity I'm a part of. Guys, feel free to donate. We're supporting kids in the foster care system locally in Charlotte. So please help us out on that mission. Pain point. John's pain point is I can't message clients back fast enough when they have a question or want to schedule a meeting. All right, that's a big problem. If you can't follow up with your leads, you can never convert them over. So you can't message him back fast enough. He has too much business. How big is that pain point? Well, this is a pretty big problem. This is a 9. Have I tried anything else? Yes. Assistants don't help me because they don't respond fast enough. All right. So people don't help. This is the form. John submits this. All right. So John just submitted this. Now, if we look over here, this is where the responses go. It's this Google Sheet. Boom. John Baker, CDs, XYZ. Now, if we go back to our Make scenario, the very first trigger for this is going to be that Google Sheet. We want to watch when a new row is added. That essentially means that there has been a new form. So, boom, new row. For adding a connection, it's very simple, guys. You press this button, add, you sign in with Google. It would hurt me to actually tell you how to sign in, but you just press add. Spreadsheet ID. So this path means you're just going to be able to search via this method. And if I type in test client inquiry, that form, that Google Sheet's right there. The sheet name is just that first one. Yes, it does contain headers. This is the range that it's going to look at. And this limit means how many responses will it pull back at one time. So for right now, you only need one. That's all that really matters. And this basically says, where do you want it to start from? So for example, let's say I got 3 more entries. If I was to press run automation, it would only pull in the next 3 entries, but we also wanted to pull in John from CDs. So we will have it do all. The next part. So if you think about it, we have this form that the client just submitted. I actually have this guide that will walk you through the prompts that I'm going to use for the setup. It has the links if you need to get your API credits for ChatGPT and Perplexity. It also has the prompts that we'll be using for this particular bot. So the first bot that we're going to do is a research prompting bot. This is going to tell Perplexity, go on the web and see if you can find any details about this person's business so that we can make our outreach message personal that we're going to send back to them. So it lets them know like, hey, we actually looked at your business and we know about your business. And see where it says website list? We're just going to replace this with the website from the form. I'll show you how to do that right now. Right, so we press new, type Perplexity. I will say 90% of the time, you're going to be creating a chat completion. That is basically the same as if you went to perplexity.com or chatgpt.com and you type the message, that message and that response is a chat completion. So that's mainly all you're going to need to use, especially when you're first starting out. Guys, I wouldn't change the model as well. Stick with it. And also if you need to add a connection for Perplexity, press this add. There's the API key section. And then if you go back over to that automation guide, it has a link that you just copy, paste that, put it in your browser and follow the steps that come up to get that API key. You paste it right there. So I don't need to add a new one. I already have one up. So we're going to go down to add item. This is going to be the message. This is where that prompt goes. So we're just going to paste that bad boy right there. And we're going to replace this website list with the company website. So that variable is going to be saved right here. And don't worry about formatting. It's a smart cookie. It knows what it needs to do. The role user is basically if you went to ChatGPT or Perplexity and you messaged the system, you are a user. Now you can get very complex with the levels of prompting that you do. So you can have a prompt for the system to let it know that, hey, you are the system that does, like, you are a PlayStation. And then the user, when you turn on the PlayStation, it already knows that it's a PlayStation, and then you're just interacting with the PlayStation versus the user saying you're a PlayStation. So that's the main difference, to dumb it down a little bit. So you will always need to use user as the last step. Max tokens, don't worry about this right now. You're a beginner. Temperature, don't worry about this right now. Okay. The next part, what we're going to say is, all right, so now we have the fun facts that are coming back from this company. Now let's actually create the message given the pain points and the information that the client gave us. So we're going to have ChatGPT do that. All right, now that that's up, I always use 4.0 latest system. 0.1 is great, but will cost you a lot more. I just recommend always using 4.0 latest system. If you really want to get down into what they do differently, just it's a quick Google search away. That's not this video, but there are other videos on YouTube that would go deep into that. All right. Same thing. We're going to add that message. The role is going to be a user. You guys guessed it. And then for that prompt, we're going to go back over to that automation guide and take it from there. So this prompt basically says you are a virtual assistant. You are named Fitzlight. Obviously, change this with your own name. You're working for Automated Solutions. Obviously, change this with your own company. And this is the pain point. So if a client does 1 through 3, it means this. If it does 4 through 7, it's moderate. If it's 8 through 10, that is pretty serious. The client can reach out to me at Fitz at Automated Solutions, and this is a random number. And then the form that you're going to get, this is the name of the client, the email from the client, the phone number from the client, the pain point, the client's 1 through 10. And then the output that you give me back, it should be a professional email that it friendly greets the client. So it says, hey, client, da 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 da. Here's a brief summary of your pain points. I acknowledge your previous attempt. Here are some recommendations of what you can do. But if you don't really get these recommendations, here, give me a quick call and a schedule a consultation. And then I want to make the email personal by using those fun facts from the business that we have Perplexity search for. And then lastly, let's format it in HTML. This just makes sure that the email is very pleasant to the eye. It doesn't come as like one like fat paragraph. And don't worry about the code. ChatGPT is going to write the code. And then we'll get into what this text parser is. But for now, just copy that prompt. We're going to paste that prompt here. And similar that we did with the past one, we're going to look for those brackets and we're going to replace those brackets. So the name of the client, and actually let's just do this just to make it a little bit clearer for you guys that are looking at this. Client's name, if you go to this, name from the Google Sheet, easy. The email of the client, easy. The phone number of the client, easy. What is your pain point? Super easy. And on the scale of 1 to 10, how big is your pain point? And then lastly, have you ever tried anything different? Okay. So those are the only variables that we need to change in that. Everything looks good to go. Just press OK. And then this next part, we go to Gmail. I always create a draft first until I trust the automation to run 100% smooth. But for the main part, you guys can check out one of my other videos. I'll put it up here where I show you how I scrape just about 1,000 emails, and I send about 100 emails a day. I just press a button, I let it run, it preps the emails, and I just go through to make sure everything looks good, which it usually does. It's just for my own OCD. So I create a draft. Once again, guys, if you want to add the link to it, it's literally just press add. It does it. I recommend naming your connection so that way you don't have this come up in case you have different emails that you link it to. So that's what I started doing here. So I pick what email I want it to go to. Since this is a draft, I'm going to have it go to my drafts folder once this loads. And then the recipient's going to be that email that was in the form. The subject, once again, guys, you could literally have a bot. So you could create another ChatGPT bot that creates the subject, and then you would just bring it right into here. And then the same for content. The content, you're going to take that from ChatGPT. So it's going to be under results. And that actually reminds me, for the ChatGPT bot, we have to bring in the fun facts that we had Perplexity look for. So that is the last thing that we actually want to bring in. And that is going to be right here in this section. And for Perplexity to get the output for that, you click choices, message, and then click content. And that's going to be the output that comes from Perplexity. All right. So theoretically, if we were to press run automation, it would run through and give us out a drafted email. So let's just click that and let's see what happens. Let me move my face out the way. Okay, so it has the email. Right now, Perplexity is running. It's getting some fun facts on who John Baker is. All right, it sent the fun facts over to ChatGPT. Now ChatGPT is creating that email. And then now ChatGPT has a draft for us. So if I go over here, I go to drafts. All right, so we see the emails here, but what looks weird is, see this ... HTML portion? Essentially what happens is that ChatGPT is, I guess what's the best way to say this? When it's giving us that output, so what's happening, if we go to the output of ChatGPT, you click results, it's giving us this ... HTML beforehand. And if you guys know how to get rid of this, please let me know. I tried everything, but I found the best way to only get the HTML code so that this doesn't show up in the message is to do a text parser. So let's actually delete this Gmail setting. And we're going to bring in a text parser. And you can do a match pattern. Basically, it says, hey, we're going to bring in everything that matches what you want, and we're going to leave out everything that you don't want. And for the code that we're going to put in as a pattern, that's what's in that automation setup guide. So let's go back there. Just copy from this part. Paste that there. And then for single line, click yes. And for the text, you guessed it, we're going to have the text from ChatGPT flow into the text parser. Now, let's just try this out. Let's try the text parser out just to make sure that it works first. And we can do that by just copying the result that ChatGPT gives. And then right-click this text parser, say run this module only. Paste that result in there, click OK. And you see how it gives this output? This is exactly what we want. So it got rid of that ... HTML. And now you just have the code, which is perfect. That's perfect. That's exactly what we want. So then after that, let's go back to Gmail again. We create a draft. Select our right connection. The folder should be a draft. Recipient, it's going to be from that Google Sheet. The subject, we can just say this is a test. Or as I said before, you could set up another ChatGPT bot that will create the subject for the email and just connect it here. And then for content, we could go right here to this text parser. So we don't want what's coming from ChatGPT. We want the clean version that's coming out of the text parser. All right. Now, if we go here and let's choose where to start, let's run this back from, we only want the second, actually let's choose manually. Make sure that we're just getting JD. We don't need both. Yeah, let's get John Baker. Perfect. And now let's just run this through. All right. So we pull the row from Google Sheets. Perplexity is getting that information, searching the web, making this email very personal to the client. All right, now ChatGPT is writing this email, putting it into HTML format. Text parser just cleaned it. Draft was just created. Now if we go back here, we refresh the page. All right, we see this is a test. Let's expand this a little bit. All right, dear John, thank you for reaching out to Automation Solutions regarding your challenges in managing client messages swiftly. I truly appreciate the incredible work you do with Charlotte Angels in creating generational change and transforming the lives of children and families in the foster care system. So like that line right there was all personal. Basically, it's just finding a way to connect with the client. It will change based on whoever. It's an honor to support someone addressing such meaningful systematic issues. From your message, I understand that you aren't responding to people fast enough. And here are some recommendations. Maybe you can adopt an AI-powered messaging solution like this one right here. Maybe an automated scheduling tool, maybe real-time notifications. Given the urgent nature of this, I think we should set up a consultation as we dive deeper into your issues. Now, please feel free to schedule a time. You can even add your Calendly link in here so you can say like, please feel free to schedule a time directly here. In one regards, you can change this part to be whatever it needs to be. So you can customize this, schedule consultation, and essentially you just create your own first automation in a couple minutes, less than an hour. Quickly jump into start making your own automations. Once you get into this world, I guarantee you're going to get hooked because the things that you can start automating are endless. I've done so much in terms of just finding real estate investment, managing my social media, creating content for me, even replying to messages that I get at work. So right now, your only limitations are what you allow yourself to think and what you're willing to learn. But if you're willing to take that next jump, you're willing to get serious about this, you already know to hit that subscribe button, stay tuned, and strap on because this journey is about to get fun. Automations like this aren't just for tech experts, they're for anyone looking to simplify their life. Subscribe for more videos on how to automate repetitive tasks and take control of your time. Do that now.